Okay, Asian lesson 2. What were the causes of the Korean War? You will need to stick your mind map across a double page again to annotate around it. So depending on where you are in your book, you can leave one page because we are going to have some questions and put the date and title on that one. Or if you're on a double page, stick your mind map on first and then write the date and title on the next sort of single page. Once you've worked out which page you're sticking things on, you've got those 3 questions. So I'll just explain a little bit about what this lesson is about. So we looked at the overview. Last lesson, we looked at the Cold War, that ideological conflict between America, the USA, and the USSR, and that they're both trying to power grab to rule the world. Today, we're looking at the cause then of our first proxy war. Cause is just the reason something happens. Our learning objectives are to analyse different causes of of conflict. Then we know from history, money, power, prestige, superiority are all reasons. So again, your success criteria, you're going to annotate around the mind map. I've said on here to ask questions for clarity. If you're not in lesson, you can email if you're stuck on something. There's some reading independently and to answer some comprehension questions from the big resource sheet. You've got to organise some information onto a fishbone diagram that's going to include cutting and sticking. I will, if you're not sure how to do that, go to the sort of like the answer video to help. You're going to rank and explain the importance of the causes. That's going to be your opinion. And then we've got a small gap fill of just to summarise the story so far. So get the your date and title down, underlining, making it look pretty, and answering the 3 questions. So question 1, which side was the USSR on at the end of World War II, Japan or the USA? Use your mind maps from last lesson and the mind map from this lesson to answer these questions. Question 2, what date did North Korea invade the South? And question 3, which parallel, a parallel is just a line on a map, which parallel was Korea divided at? So pause the video until you've got all your date, your title down. So I'm recording this on the 12th of June. That's obviously not the date that you're watching it. It just does it automatically. And answer the questions. Okay, next bit, our building knowledge. So again, make sure your mind map is stuck down. You're going to follow along, pause it if you need to. And if you've got any questions, email them into me. Again, I'm not going to play it through the PowerPoint because the sound just gets even more dodgy than normal. So leave this video, go and find the mind map video, and then come back when you have finished. Okay, time to check your knowledge. So a lot of the knowledge for these questions is on the mind map. But if you get stuck, there is the resource sheet where it says paragraph 1. The answers for this are in paragraph 1 on the resource sheet. You look for keywords from the question, skim read the resource sheet to find it. There's 2 slides for the questions. I would also suggest that if your target is a grade 5 or above, you read all of the resource sheet because it shows you how to use that information to start to build an argument, which is important for our level 4s. Okay, so I'm going to read the questions out and then I'm just going to go straight on to the other questions. Again, pause this video as you answer and read as you need to. So in paragraph 1, you're looking for which country had colonised Korea before World War II. In paragraph 2, we've got who does North Korea share a border with? I'm looking for 2 countries. I'm not looking for South Korea. I'm looking for North Korea, like an international country border. Question 3, who dropped nuclear bombs on Japan? Question 4, where was Korea temporarily divided? Question 5, when did Kim Il-sung take power in the North? So we're looking for a date there. Question 6, who took power in the South? So they're all in paragraph 2. In paragraph 3, question 7, why did Stalin refuse Kim's request for support for an invasion of the South before 1949? So you're looking for what are the 3 reasons that Stalin said no, sort of like before the end of 1949 or start of 1950. Question 8, what changed in 1949? So how did things change? Question 9, when did Kim invade the South? So we're looking for the full date, not just a year on that one. On paragraph 4, question 10 is, what is the military branch of the UN called? Question 11, who are the 5 permanent members of the UN? Question 12, why were the USSR not at the meeting to decide whether the UN would support the South? Question 13, how many countries agreed to send troops in to support the South? Question 14, who was in charge of the UN forces? Question 15, what was the mission of the UN in Korea? And question 16, how well did Kim's initial invasion go? So you're looking for evidence of success and failures on Kim's starting, like the initial go, before other people got involved. Okay, then if you want to add any relevant details to your mind map that you didn't get down, that you think are important to help you explain, especially from the resource sheet, do that as well. Remember, you pause the videos as you need to. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is some cutting and sticking, but it's got a purpose. We can use graphic organisers to help organise our information, and this one is a fishbone diagram, and it is very useful for looking at all the different reasons things happen to a big sort of event or the effect. Because as historians, we know that things aren't black or white, and just one thing doesn't necessarily always cause a big thing. There can be lots of different reasons, and they can all add together to create a big thing. So it helps to show a series of causes can work together to lead to a consequence. Right, this is where you might want to go and have a look at the video to see what's going on, but I'll try and explain. You're going to organise your data onto this fishbone. You should have 3 sheets. They are not in the order that they need to be stuck down. I'm going to repeat again, they are not in the right order. I have muddled them up. Even though they look like strips, I muddled it up before I printed them. So make sure you have a strip of cause, a strip of evidence, and a strip of explanation. You need to cut them out, so divide them down there. Then you're going to work out which cause, evidence, and explanation. So our cause would be our point. So I'll be like, one cause of the Korean War was Korean nationalism. For example, here's my evidence to back that up, and here's what that means. So there's 2 easier ones, and then there's 2 a little bit hard. Stick them onto your fishbone in the order that best shows the build up to the war. So where this one says explanation and this says explanation, you're going to stick this so it fits in nicely in that area. Okay, once you've work out the order first before we do any sticking. This bit, the cause, will go completely down where it says glue here on the cause. The evidence is the one that's a little bit tricky. You're going to put just glue on this section for the evidence, and then you're going to just put this side of the evidence onto here so it will flap over that way. If you feel like that might be too complicated, go and have a look at the video and I will give you an example, and then you can pause it, have a go, and then I'll give you the answers. I would check the answers before you stick it all down, otherwise it will annoy you. Okay. Then what you're going to do, so you've worked out your causes, we've got 4. You're going to rank the causes by significance, so in leading up to the Korean War. So which one do you think was the most important reason why that led to the war, and which one less so? So rank them first, numbers 1 to most important, 4 least important, and then you're just going to write 4 summary sentences about each one. So it might be Korean nationalism was the most important because Kim was the one that invaded. It doesn't have to be massive. Or Korean nationalism was least significant because without the Stalin changing his mind, Kim wouldn't have had enough weapons. This is just organising your thoughts and coming to an explanation. There's no necessarily right or wrong. well, there's no right way necessarily to do it. There's definitely wrong ways, but there's no right way to do it. So just have a go. It's your opinion. As long as it's logical, you'll be fine. Again, pause the video while you do that. With the apply tasks, I'm not going to give you the answers on the videos. This is the bit that I want to mark to see how we're getting along. So try your hardest, please. Okay, so reflect. You've got a gap fill to fill in and stick down. The word bank is the bottom to help you. Do that, make sure everything's stuck in. Again, for most of you, I have said I will see it at the end of the Korean War, bring your book in, we'll exchange for the Vietnam. But if you are doing this video because you're ill and you're just missing one lesson or a couple of lessons, or you're in isolation for whatever reason, come and give me your work as soon as possible or email it in so I can mark it. So we were looking at the causes of conflict. We saw lots. We saw desires for independence. We saw US relationships, sort of like sulky behaviour, and this idea of the Cold War. You should have annotated around your map, and if you needed to ask a question, you should have done that. You read independently, hopefully, and had to go answering the questions, and then marked and corrected your answer. You had to go organising the information on the fishbone diagram. You've done the rank and explain the importance. That's your reply section, and then you've had to go at doing the gap fill to just consolidate that knowledge. So well done you, and I will see you next lesson. Well, I'll see you on the answer questions first. I'll see you whenever. Bye.